way that you normally would, which can be represented either by playing kind of angry or just playing unfocused. Dudley has picked up some kings. We'll step back to that here as we got heads up between kings and ace-6 offsuit within the blinds. And that's a problem spot here for Sparks is...
So, I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. I think he's just going to call flop, probably call turn, and make a decision based on most runouts. He can put in a small raise here, but I think he's just going to want to call and navigate some turns.
Yeah, I think I'd probably agree with you there. Let's see what we get on the turn. Oh, my. Well, the problem no more. 3 of a kind 6s. Now it's Dudley's problem here as he is going to lead the turn.
You know, Sparks can have a bunch of hands here that don't have a 6 in them. I don't think Dudley's bet is necessarily bad. If he's up against a hand like 7s or
5-4.
Yeah, or 7-8 maybe, he can get some value. So I haven't played with Sparks before, so I don't know how he structures his ranges. Dudley's going to call this, but I'm going to be honest with you. I think this spot is pretty underbluffed in general. I think that people just aren't really bluffing this enough in Sparks' spot. I don't think that necessarily makes it...
Oh, my goodness, though. Oh, we may get a huge pot here if we continue here as king's full for Dudley.
So Dudley, I'm hoping he check shoves this river. I would expect Sparks to bet something like 450, and I'm really hoping Dudley just shoves and doesn't make it like 1,000 or whatever.
And there's Bone Stradamus.
He goes 500, and now Dudley is definitely just going to shove. I think Dudley's going to want to think for a bit before he shoves there. Yeah, I think he's going to want to think for a bit because I'm not advocating tanking unnecessarily, but he shoves in a way that implies that there wasn't really a ton of thought in the moment as to what he was going to do. And there's just not that many opportunities to have a snap shove on this board. So Sparks is representing a 6. Most people are not going to try to bluff someone off of a 6. You're going to have to get pretty creative, and there's just not going to be that many natural bluffs here because I would expect a 6 to always call. Yeah, he's going to call, and
he's not going to like it. Ooh.
That's a tough spot, especially if you think Dudley can have some hands like 6-7, 6-8. That he thinks.
Maybe. I mean, that'd probably be the range, I think.
No, I mean, I don't think that's going to be Dudley's range.
Really?
Dudley would have to bet the flop, bet the turn, and call a raise with ace-king, and then check raise the river when it really looks like Sparks has a 6.
No.
I think when he shoves that river, I think he just has it. Is going to respond, or how they may respond. With newer players, guys like Noam and Matt may feel like their best path to making the most money is just going to be to play a little cautiously until they get a feel for the table.
Noam taking no caution here with 9s. Going to raise his 9ers up to 100. I call it the Warren Sapp, number 99.
Okay.
Not bad. Cedric here with some 8s. And Nick.
Chad, I played last Sunday. I probably play one day a month of online poker, maybe. I've definitely am a recreational online player at this point, and pretty much only play out of boredom for the most part.
Nick here with the 5-5, aka the Jason Williams, the white chocolate. There's a couple of pocket pairs going to the flop, and it's 5s full. here for Nick and C3 on the left of your screen.
So let's see if he decides to lead this flop. It looks like, yeah, he's going to come right out. You know, it's okay. We kind of saw him do it again, or we saw him do that with the ace-queen hand earlier. It looks like he just wants to play all of his good hands pretty aggressively. He's going to put in a really big bet here, betting almost the size of the pot. With someone behind him, I feel like Cedric is just in a really tough spot and is probably going to find a fold. Noam, I don't know. I think he's probably going to call one and see what happens on the turn.
I kind of feel like he can at least take a card here and just see what Nick's going to do next, because I mean, he could think he could lead out there with 7s, 6s, maybe like an ace-5. Just try to weave through the field, and his hand still might be best, but
yeah, you know.
Oh my goodness!
That's a big card. Let's see how much they can get in here. So I feel like Noam is going to have to put in the raises here. Oh, he put in the 500. Okay, yeah. So when Nick bets 500 here, Noam, yeah, I think he needs to put in a raise here. Like, Nick just has a 10 or 5s, just a lot here. And it's a pretty big disaster if you don't stack those hands. If he has a 10 here, so like, if Nick has a 10 here and he bets a flop and he bets a turn, this river is going to slow him down. When he has a boat, obviously, like, stacks are going to get in. But I think against his whole range, I think Noam probably wants to raise this turn. As is, Noam's going to shove, and Nick is going to call it off. And that's a pretty brutal color for Nick.
Shoves it all in as
Nick
is going to see the bad news that he's been yetied. He's been coolered here. And I think that might be, we might have to make Igloo a sponsor of the cooler of the night, as Nick flops 5s fold, Noam turns 9s fold, and a big win there for Noam. Yeah, I mean, I can't see anything wrong about either of the lines that either of these players took in this hand, that it just kind of, it sort of played itself, and Nick was really unfortunate here in the spot that that this one didn't go his way.
Neighbors opened it up to, I believe, 60 under the gun. Brendan 3-bet to 210 maybe? Under the gun +1, and I was under the gun. I was in middle position with 10s. We were pretty deep, and I did not like any of my options. I thought that 4-betting was not good. I thought that calling would really incentivize neighbors to 4-bet under the gun, both as bluffs and for value.
Well, here we go. Peter
okay.
Turns a set. Sorry to cut you off here. Peter's turned a set of 7. Steve has got top pair, top kicker. As maybe we'll see some more splashiness here. As
so it looks like this flop was checked through. And he's going to put in a raise here that is not going to work out terribly well for him.
I take back all that analysis.
We'll get out with deuces.
So Peter, he's going to want to get stacks in here, so just calling is not really an option. He definitely wants to stack a hand like ace-king. There are no flush draws. There's just not that many hands here that Steve's going to beat when he gets that 3-bet. Let's see if he can get away from it, but this is a pretty tough spot, and he's going to regret checking this flop because it makes it just like really tricky to play. And it looks like Peter's going to double up here. It looks like Steve is going to feel obligated to continue. I would imagine Peter's going to shove every river since there are no flushes that are going to complete, and Steve is probably going to feel obligated to call. You know, sometimes you're going to want to check back some strong hands, but I don't think this is that time. I think that when Steve looks back, he's going to kind of regret not betting this flop. But if he manages to find a way to get away from the hands That'd be pretty impressive.
He will make the call here. Old lefty Garrett behind the box. Here for Texas Card House.
Yeah, so I'm guessing that Peter's going to double up here.
Well,
and yeah, that's going to be... So, when the last three comes in, yeah.
I was going to call him pretty quickly. Didn't give it a lot of consideration, as you'll see. His flop, check, and trap.
So whenever Steve calls a turn there, he's not looking to fold rivers. He's trying to decide if Peter can have some bluffs, and if just calling is the best way to keep in the bluffs.